Winfrey. Here. Mr. Brooks. Thank you. Mike, you know, do this in the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval minutes for the July 19th meeting. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Approval of minutes, for the executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Approval minutes for August 2nd.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. And approval minutes for the executive session, August 2nd. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
There's one more set right there.
Oh, approval minutes of August 16th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Old business, MCO building progress report.
I guess I'll go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mike Miclerini. I've asked him, and he's done such a good job on
He's been
that.
on vacation, so.
I want to hear
for 2
about,
days.
I want to hear about the helicopter.
Well, today was the helicopter lift for the 2 units. The 9th is the substantial completion, and then the 16th will be final. We are on target for that. Midweek, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they will be installing carpet, so that shows you how far ahead we are. There's a couple of glitches that we may have to fine tune with the HVAC stuff. It's all carrier stuff, and as Don Trump told you, that it had to come from across the border. So, but everything is going well. Helicopter drop was very cool. You missed
It was?
Yes.
Did you get a video of it?
Oh, I got video.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mike.
Nope.
Discussion regarding the public parking at or near the courthouse. I think we'll just keep this for executive. Does everyone agree? Okay. Update for the judicial center delivery teams.
Could the project team join me, Jason, in town, and Mr. Wolf? Please join me here. We're going to give, in the interest of time, we're going to give you kind of like a high-level overview.
Okay.
Last week, many of you, well, I'm not saying many of you, I should say some of you joined us for some intensive reviews of the schematic design documents at White & Company. That occurred Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week with different subjects for each day and different areas of expertise for each day. It went very, very well. A lot of valuable input from all of the, everyone who's going to be occupying the courthouse and everybody that's on the team. So it's very valuable. At the same time, the owner's performance requirements, which is a document that lets this team know what our expectations are as part of the commissioning process, is being prepared kind of as an evolving document in conjunction with the basis of design that is being prepared by White & Company. So these are moving forward. They're living, working documents, but I think we're going to have a final draft that will issue to you at the 50% DD benchmark. So right now we're at schematic design. If you want to look at that as a percentage of design completion, you're probably looking at about 30%. Thereabouts. So those are moving forward, which is a very good and healthy exercise in the long-range management of this new and expensive courthouse or justice center. And beyond that, we have Gil Banger, construction manager, who's preparing our schematic design estimate. And we are working together with them and the rest of the team to come together for a formal presentation at this committee meeting on the 20th, together with the schematic design estimate. And aside from that, I think that there were, again, a lot of invaluable input that came forward last week. I want to thank the team for especially White Company for putting that together and hosting that. I think it was a great exercise and very meaningful to the ongoing design effort. So. And so if you want to say a couple of things.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that. The idea is that we've been working with all the users kind of individually in the design. So we hosted a little workshop just to take a little bit deeper dive with a larger group and do it, kind of in unison to dig in. But we're gonna give you all probably a little bit abbreviated version. I think we're gonna be spending close to 8 hours total in a detailed run through over 3 days. So we'll try not to do an 8-hour meeting for you next meeting. We'll condense that down. But yeah, it was very helpful for us to get some good feedback from all the different groups and get a little crosstalk between the different users and other stakeholders. So other than that, I think we're on track. We're just working closely with Gil Bain in the next couple of weeks as they're doing the rest of the meeting, and with Farnsworth, any comments they have from commissioning, and looking forward to presenting it to you.
And I think most of you guys sent an email invite out after summer meetings last week. Our goal is to have the estimate done this Friday, review it, issue it Monday the 12th, and then I think our scheduled meeting in our office on Tuesday the 13th, 1:30, to kind of run through it a week prior to the meeting on the 20th. So we can make it.
Also worth mentioning along those lines too is that we're looking at approximately a 4% gap in what's been designed and developed in schematic versus what's been costed in the schematic design.
Say it's 1%, that's super.
And from a percentage, no, the other way around. So from a percentage standpoint, that is, I don't want to be an alarmist. It's a lot of money, but this team is working to reconcile those, and that's the goal. Whether we're there all the way for the presentation on the 20th, I'm not sure, but we will be working towards that.
We'll identify the cost savings items that all items that we went through last weekend.
And I think we saw a lot of different options and things that I say cut or, different ways and alternatives, especially, the types of building material, or, we talked about, eliminating some of the wood inside that, so.
CDF plan for
Tim?
I guess that was kind of my question, and that is how you look at the schematic design. The schematic design Gil Bain will take on the schematic design to do estimates. During that process, do you try to drive to our budget? Make changes?
Yeah.
Well, here's why I'm asking. Inevitably, every schematic design, everyone who calls out a schematic design always says, "Well, it's more than the budget," kind of thing. It's not unusual. Before you come here, you'll already have looked at where you think we can save money to get to that budget. Then I'm going to assume that what you're saying is, unless there's changes by the county, this is cost. Changes being you eliminate something or whatever.
Well, it's evaluation, the alternatives. We've been really looking at the MEPs with Southland. We've had some pretty good conversation with them on systems there with Alan Brooks, our chief estimator on that, identifying some opportunities there. Like Reagan said, the exterior skin, I think we've introduced another alternate besides that rain screen and we're looking at precast now. We've got numbers from some of the precasters on that. The finishes, the same way. So we've got, quite a big list of these things to try and get this down to our $195 million total project cost. So when we come to you, we're not just going to say,
Yeah, so when you come to us, you would have already gone through that exercise or that process of driving the cost down to where you think this is where it's going to be.
yes, sir.
Of the options and recommendations for this committee to consider.
And I can add a little bit. I think it's important to note that, we're in schematic design. We still have a design development phase to go through before we complete the construction documents. And typically what happens is you add more and more detail, defining things as we go. But I think we've got a really good, solid framework for all of the design decisions so far. And the meetings we had were good because we got good feedback on, what are the higher priority items, where do you want to spend your money to get the biggest bang for the buck? There may be some things along the way where we talk about, well, you could spend a little bit more on this piece of equipment or this mechanical system, and it's got a longer life. And I mean, we want to have a good initial discussion on that, but we also want to, engage you in a little bit of that discussion because it's your money, it's your building. So you're part of making some of those decisions on exactly where you want to focus the dollars.
And I think a good part of, and I missed the last day, but a good part of the conversations that were had in those meetings by all the stakeholders, by Gilbane, White, County Board, was not just, what type of material or item goes where, but there is a conscious effort by everybody to reduce operations and make sure this was an efficient building, which I think is just, is almost priceless, So it was not, again, just the actual tangible item, but, looking at how we're going to maintain and operate this building. And I thought that was great by everybody.
Yeah, I think White used the target value design with Southland, and I think we gave them quite a lot of input in there about operations, sizes up, we're taking up floor space in the building, being able to get systems that maximize the building design, and operations too. So, good observation. We're really tracking that way.
Mike, I'm going to ask, I know you're in this process early, which is a good thing for us. One of my other concerns, talking about value, not everything is dollars. I mean, I'm looking at a system saying, yes, this will help you meet your budget projections, but it has half the life cycles, 10 years less. You can spend 10% more. Will you get that also? You help with that kind of valuation?
Absolutely, yeah. That's really what, like Dave was saying with the OPR. We started out generally, and we built the draft a couple months ago. We presented that on Wednesday, and looking at what are the criteria that this project needs to meet that are success driven, but not maybe necessarily related to budget or timeline as much. So things like operational access, life cycle costs, efficiency of equipment, lifespan of equipment. So we're trying to make sure that those things are taken under consideration as costs are looked at too. So it's not just driven by cost. And then the decision points kind of get discussed, and then we also document those so that we're all on the same page as a team with those decisions.
Before you sit down, if I may, I'd like to just take a brief moment and ask Kathy, can you come up and join me, Kathy, for a second? If you can recall on some of the renovation projects that we've done recently in the county, Kathy has taken leadership with the State Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and through a program known as SEDAC, SEDAC is the acronym. They analyze the plans and specifications for any given project and determine, if there's grant dollars available, energy savings, methods to maybe switch something, one piece of equipment for another, and so forth and so on. A lot more to it than that, but as you can imagine, with the problems that the state's had recently, there's been no money for it. But just in the last week, and I'd like to turn it over to you because this is great news, and the timing couldn't have been better.
Right.
The funds were held for, these are all ratepayer funded programs through Illinois Energy now. The funds were held for 2015 because of budgetary constraints in our state government. It was determined that these funds could be reestablished because they are paid through our utility bills, and so the whole new Illinois Energy Now program reopened. And part of the opportunity that they have through the Smart Energy Design Assistance Center is to review plans to see if the equipment chosen meet the maximum energy efficiency requirements to obtain the maximum rebates and incentives. And it's pretty big for new construction. We're looking at like $2.75 a square foot. And so, I mean, that could add up to a decent amount of money to put into our contingency fund for building equipment replacement. And that's another thing that's going to be happening through the program. So they're going to help us with our new construction. And now we have an opportunity to get revamped, because we haven't had an energy efficiency report in several buildings done for 4 years. To get them done again so we can get a replacement schedule going. So you'll have engineers doing all that.
And Jason, one of your people are looking at CDEC stuff as well, right?
Yeah, well, we'll coordinate on it.
Yeah. I applied for both the new construction for the county. We have them approved, but the official program hasn't rolled out yet. So until they roll it out publicly, then they will come in and set our date so they can work with this great team to help us to, you know, keep operating efficiently and save money.
Comes the state of Illinois, don't spend it till the check clears.
Right? Right?
Tell you when they get the check, get away till it clears.
We're able, the timing of this, we're able to go down this path with both buildings, not just the courthouse.
Thanks to Kathy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that definitely could fund our meetings, so.
Yeah.
Kickstart that.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
And that's my hope, you know, and then we have that all set aside, and then it's not running last minute and having to, you know, keep things that are so inefficient working because of, you know, we have budgets ourselves. So that's our hope.
Just something I wanted to add, nothing finalized, kind of what you're talking about, but did have some discussions with the Will County Bar Association. And I don't have an exact dollar, I don't have details, we're still working with them, but I am really happy to say that most likely they are willing to give us some of their money as, we're figuring out ideas, but they want to contribute towards the courthouse. We're trying to figure out how they can. You know, they have a real small office space downtown. If you know, if we can somehow incorporate them in there, we are continuing that conversation. So it's always nice when someone calls and says they want to give you money.
I'll take that call.
So that's good. Well, thank you. Anyone have any questions? Thank you. Next update for the Will County Public Safety Complex.
I did not ask the delivery team to attend this meeting today, and here's why. Bid package 2 is due tomorrow, so there's a lot of things that they're working on, and not only are those bids due and will be publicly opened here tomorrow at noon, but bid package 3 for the finishes has to get out on the street as well. And so very, very busy. So I thought I would just give you an overview and try to answer any questions that you may have. Bid package 3, that will be issued shortly, and also then on the street and due in October. So we'll be looking to bring that for approval to you in October. Now, so, I'm sorry, I was just informed that we had a postponement for bid package 2 for the bid opening, and forgive me because I was out Thursday and Friday.
It's delayed again.
So,
This is a second delay. Why? It was originally due back the 31st. Then it was due again the 7th.
right,
And now I understand it's been delayed to what, the 21st?
yes.
What's the reason?
I just learned that myself. I'm sorry,
You know,
for not having that.
That's,
Question verification or not?
I think that there were some issues with, that bid package number 2 was primarily the building enclosure system and the MEPs, mechanical. I think that there was a lack of precise detail for electrical, mechanical, that had to be worked out. I think that
then why wasn't
the
that
fee-
just delayed? And why would you continue to delay the whole package?
I'm gonna have to-
Unless people were, it's generally not a practice of this council. They're doing their due. And if we don't get enough response, then we'll rebid it.
I will,
But to postpone it,
well, I can speak to this. The addendum that came out last week, addendum number 4, was a very lengthy addendum, which signaled to me that there was quite a bit of detail that needed to be shared with the potential bidders. And I also had some feedback that it was within the realm of the MSP, the trades. And, but I did not know until just now that that was supposed to happen.
I can
need to
understand,
look into it.
understand a week, but now it's been postponed for another, we're postponing it for 21 days.
I'll need to look in, I'm sorry, I apologize, I just need
I
to.
would even look at Marion and say, I guess our purchase ordinance doesn't address this directly, but
No, not to my knowledge, does not address delays. We do have in our purchasing ordinance that if we issue addendums and more time is needed, we will sometimes extend the bid, but there is no time limitation on it. So,
when was the addendum issued?
This
I
last
assume
one,
it's last week.
it had to have been Friday.
Yeah, I get extended a bid, but I'm wondering is why isn't all the information there to be bid on? So if we're having that many questions and that addendums have to come out with so much information that we do have to delay it, not the bidder's fault. Then why isn't that information getting out right the first time? Why are we waiting? Why, there shouldn't be that many questions.
Why was the big
Agreed.
things done correctly in the beginning?
Right.
Agreed.
And this goes towards, our labor agreement, and that's something that this committee and the county board wants to ensure that there are no delays, so we can look into that. I know the first bid package too, we didn't have enough bids, like the elevator or something. I mean, is there a way to release some of these and hold back on others, and delay some others, split them up, or no?
I will look into it,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, they don't even know how many bidders there's gonna be until 5 minutes before the bid
Right.
opens.
No,
You know,
right.
People walk in
Right.
the very last second with their
No,
bid, so.
yeah, I was just.
I don't think that's what's been contentious here as much as it has been, where there's been changes, questions came back to the bidders, and then time for those to be addressed by the architect or mechanical engineer,
Okay.
whoever was related to ranking it,
I
and getting
think-
that information back out to everybody, so
Okay.
everybody's bidding on the same.
Okay, sure. Okay. All right, we just follow up on that. Is there any more in regards to the sheriff's, or?
Well, other than that, I want to make sure that everyone realizes that mobilization will occur on the 15th of September, this
Okay.
month, next week. Site work will begin by the end of the month, and we're looking for our groundbreaking ceremony to be Friday morning, October the 7th at 10 a.m. So more details to follow on that. And I will report back to you on the, this delay for the bid package too.
Okay.
And David, the other part of this is indicates to me that there's maybe not good communication with the team when things don't go our way. Just want to point that out.
I take full responsibility, and I will get to the bottom of it and find out exactly what the reason for the lengthy delay was. So,
Anyone else? Thanks, Dave. I don't believe there's any other old business, no new business. Anyone? Public comment? Anyone have public comment? Let's call public comment. I don't have a chairman's report. We'll go into executive session for the purposes of property acquisition. What? Insecurity. Motion second, roll call.
Griswold. Fritz. Mayor. Moran.
Yes.
Eustace. Rice. Chumanello.
Yes.
Winfrey. Yes. Right, take the warning, second.